Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking full wardrobe essentials and more specifically shoes. And personally I feel like the right pair of shoes can make an outfit look really pulled together and intentional and elevated, and the wrong pair can make the whole outfit just throw it off, make it look like it was just thrown together and a bit of an afterthought. And I definitely feel like as I have recently invested more into footwear, not just money but also time and consideration, I feel like my outfits look so much better and I really enjoy them a lot more. However, it's very easy to get caught up in feeling like we need a ton of different shoes, and I simply don't think that is necessarily true. So today I wanted to break down the 5 shoes that really carry me through all of my fall outfits, whether it is for work or evening, dinners. These have me covered for pretty much anything. So I'll show you the pairs that I personally own and why the silhouette really works and why I chose them essentially, and how they work into my outfit formulas. And the first shoe might be a little bit obvious, but for me a low profile sneaker is a non-negotiable when it comes to fall. My current favourite are these Adidas Specials. I absolutely love the colourway of these and the fact that they have a bit of suede. They're also leaning a little bit retro, which I love, but the slim shape keeps them quite sort of polished and easy to style. And these are pretty popular at the moment, I would say for good reason. They're also super comfortable. And for me a sneaker is an absolute no-brainer. It just goes with so many different things. It's a perfect shoe if you do a lot of walking, and it's obviously great if you do a lot of casual outfits, but at the same time I think these go so well with dressier pieces, especially in my wardrobe. I really like to dress down some of my more, I don't want to call them stiff outfits, but things that feel a little bit too smart maybe. If you have a pair of tailored trousers but that feels a little bit too much for whatever you're doing. If you wear sneakers as your shoe option, it just has that beautiful effect of dressing everything down, making it a little bit more casual and low-key. Whether it is a skirt or a dress, a pair of sneakers just has that magical effect to really dress things down. If you just want to move your outfit a little bit in a more casual direction, I think the shoe option is such a good way to do that. So they're not only for the casual jeans outfits, although they work perfect for that. I can put together outfits with these for work, for a casual weekend, for coffee dates, for errands. For me the key is the profile of the shoe. So I really like something that is a little bit more slim. To me it just feels a little bit more polished, but it also means that when you're pairing it with a trouser, whether it is a jean or a tailored trouser, I just find that it kind of lays over the shoe much nicer. If you're going for a sneaker that is way chunkier, I just find that it's so much more difficult to pair with wider leg trousers because again so quickly look quite bottom heavy. So this is just such a great middle ground, I think, where things lay nicely without stacking awkwardly. Now, while sneakers are fantastic for casual outfits and making more dressy outfits a little bit more casual, the next shoe sort of has the opposite effect. When I want a more dressy or more polished flat shoe option, a loafer just cannot be beat. It's such a beautiful, elevated and sophisticated flat shoe option for fall. I feel like these are one of my favorite styling go-tos if I am wearing a really plain basic outfit and I just want it a little bit smarter, a little bit dressier. I think just adding a pair of loafers has a beautiful, instantly sort of like magical effect to transform my outfits. And similarly to the sneakers, I think these are quite versatile as well. They obviously go really well with sort of more tailored styles, but I actually find myself typically trying to contrast the level of dressiness for the shoe. So for a lot of tailored trousers I actually prefer the sneakers, but for jeans and more casual outfits I really like to contrast them with a dressier shoe, like this pair of loafers. They just instantly smarten up any outfit they are paired with, and this pair right here is actually from H&M. I just showed them in my most recent haul. I really love these, and these are really affordable, but I think they look so much more expensive than what they were. And the reason I really love these, a couple things. First off, the silhouette, and I say this as someone who has been through pretty much any kind of loafer there is, from the really chunky to the barely there. I love my loafers, and while I kind of love them all, I think this more middle of the road silhouette is the easiest one to style. You have enough structure and detail to give a little bit of polish to the outfit, but the really chunky ones, again, as I talked about with the sneakers, they can tend to make the foot or the outfit look a little bit like too stacked, too bottom heavy in a way, especially with wider leg trousers and jeans, whereas these are just so much easier to pair both with wide leg trousers and more slim fit without making the proportions look a little bit off. This pair from H&M is actually in real suede as well. I love suede for fall. It's super hot this season, but it's always going to look appropriate for autumn. I think the suede really softens up an outfit, but if it's really wet where you live and you want more of a practical option, a leather one is going to be a better alternative. I will agree to that. But I thought these were such a good budget option that are still in real leather, and they're really comfortable, and yet they're also really structured. I think they look super expensive. They have a beautiful sort of more rounded off toe, and they also have that horsebit detail, which I think really elevates them. Now, I think those shoes are particularly good for beginning of autumn, for warmer days, and especially days that aren't too wet. However, the most quintessential autumn shoe has to be a boot. Let's talk about the shoe that I think is the hero of a fall wardrobe, the ankle boot. If you are not new to my channel, I'm very sorry that you're probably sick of seeing these boots at this moment, but I bought these, I think, in August, and I absolutely love them. I have worn them a few times now, and out of all of these shoes, if I can only save one pair in a fire, it would be these. Actually, I have a lot of things I would save in a fire, and now I'm kind of sad thinking about that, so we're going to move on. And I think the ankle boot is one of the most important pieces in a full wardrobe because it's one of those, it's really practical, and it can really add or detract from your outfit. It's the kind of shoe that can work for trousers, jeans, skirts, dresses, and it's obviously a fantastic shoe for more rainy weather. It's a really good option for work, but also sort of like coffee dates or running errands, depending on the heel height you get. And that is sort of what I wanted to talk about here. The reason I have chosen these is that they really suit my lifestyle. So I don't want to say that this is the option everyone should get, because I don't believe so, although I absolutely love these boots. I think that the reason they work so well for me is that they have a walkable heel, but I don't tend to have long commutes with lots of walking. But for me, the real magic of these boots is the very slim shaft, and it was a little bit stiff when I first bought them, so I was a bit nervous, but truly it is what makes these boots so incredibly good. It has softened up a lot as I have used them, so it's not uncomfortable at all, and it also has a little bit of stretch on the inside to kind of give when you're walking and just fit a little bit nicer. But because it is so slim, it just means that it is beautiful under trousers, even more slim fit jeans. I have definitely in the past made the mistake of choosing ankle boots that had a shaft that was too wide, and then I struggle because I can't find trousers or jeans that fit them. So I think having a slimmer boot is just so much more functional and versatile. I really love them. I have seen so many beautiful ankle boots that have a ton of style. We're seeing a lot of the sort of Western style cowboy boots, and I think they're super cool. They can definitely make an outfit, but oh my goodness, I would struggle so much to get cost per wear out of them, which is why I think these are so good. They were definitely a little bit more of an investment, but I have not regretted it whatsoever because the silhouette is so good. They disappear under trousers, but they also work so beautifully with the skirts. Again, where I find a slimmer silhouette to be so much easier to style with so many different things. So the beauty of these is that they are, can we say, plain or simple enough and slim enough to wear with pretty much everything I own, and yet they are elevated enough to really add to all of those outfits. It's the combination of having a sort of like rounded off toe that isn't super square, it's not really pointed. So it's sort of the combination of a more rounded off toe, as you can see, which is a little bit easier to style than a really square toe or a more pointed toe. They both provide so much style. So this one is sort of like a little bit of a balance in the middle, and yet you have that beautiful stitching down the center here, like a stitch on each side of the seam. So you have all of of these beautiful details along with the beautiful quality and leather of the shoe to really help elevate your outfits and not through a really sort of statementy type of silhouette. It can be just a little bit less versatile in my wardrobe. But I am also considering a black pair because that is obviously very, very practical and functional, and it goes with so many different things. But personally, I am just loving going for this dark brown as my go-to neutral for leather belts, handbags, shoes, just accessories in general. It's so soft and yet it's still really easy to pair with things. So I have really come around from thinking that everything should be in black because it goes with everything else and it's easy to style. As you can probably tell from all of these shoes, most of them are in a neutral brownish tone of some variety. I also have one more pair of boots, and I think these very much belong on a sort of like top 5 shoes that are essential in a full wardrobe. And I say this because I have made this mistake of not including them previously. Given if I had to choose between the two, I would still go with my ankle boots because they're just a touch more practical and versatile. I can wear them with more of my trousers. But I recently put together my full capsule wardrobe and I did not include these. I didn't own them at that point, but I thought I would get by without a pair of knee-high boots. That didn't last very long at all. I missed having that styling option, and the pairs I had from last year were kind of like falling apart, or they were super uncomfortable to wear, so I wanted something that was really beautiful, and these are my current obsession. These are from Zara, but they are in suede leather and they really weren't too expensive considering how much leather goes into a knee-high boot. If I'm being honest, I could probably put in 2 different pairs of knee-high boots. You have this option here, which I have chosen, that is quite feminine, a bit more dressy and elegant. So you have a pointed toe and a stiletto heel. These look more difficult to walk in than they are as well, but I think even if you choose something with a more walkable heel, these are a really beautiful option. For me, an equally popular and less dressy option for sort of everyday wear would be the very popular sort of like riding boot style shoes. I absolutely love these. They have a wider shaft. They just don't get as good cost per wear in my wardrobe, so I wanted an option that I can wear with skirts and dresses, and I love these for that. And one of the reasons I think they're so good is because they're in suede, so they're really, really soft. I love that contrast of a softer material in a more feminine shoe for something that feels more wearable for work and everyday life, going for coffee dates. It's not too dressy. And with these, I can actually push them down my leg to have them be very slouchy, and I get that relaxed, slightly like cool girl vibe, but they also stay up really nicely if I just want them a little bit more slimmer to my leg. And for me, again, as with the ankle boot, I didn't want a shaft that was too wide because I find it so much more difficult to style with different skirts and dresses. And for me, although I can actually wear these under my wide leg trousers to get a cool sort of like stiletto heel boot for my trousers, it's not what I am going to wear them for the most. For me, these are primarily for skirts and dresses, but they are so worth it for those outfits. I think these really elongate the leg, and while I definitely can wear ankle boots for my skirts and dresses, these just give me a little bit more joy when I'm putting together an outfit. And again, I am aware these are my 3rd pair of suede shoes in this lineup. It's just what I am really gravitating towards at the moment. I am okay with sort of wearing through these shoes a little bit more quickly. I do spray them with weather protectant religiously though, to kind of make them last as long as possible. I feel like if these were in real leather, they'd be a little bit more dressy. The suede, the texture of it just makes everything feel more cozy and a little bit more laid back, while still looking really expensive and luxurious, I think. That is why I'm so drawn to this material. Changing the material is sort of changing the vibe a little bit, and I definitely wouldn't love these as much if they weren't in suede. So although these aren't my most versatile shoes, I get so much joy putting together outfits with them that I do think they are an essential, and the way they elevate the outfits where they do work is just worth it in my opinion. And as I said, I tried to put together a capsule wardrobe without them and it just wasn't as much fun as I hoped it would be. So these are now included in my capsule wardrobe. Okay, the final shoe in this lineup, and these are so well loved. They are due for being updated soon, I would say, but I think that you can't put together an essentials list or a capsule wardrobe without at least one dressy shoe. When you need it, you really don't want to be without it. None of these other shoes could substitute these when I want to dress up for a night out or just have a really dressy shoe go with a dressy dress, for example. These are really beautiful for sort of evening dinners, going out, just being a little bit more dressy, and depending on how much pain I'm willing to subject my feet to, they are fantastic for work as well because they go really well with tailored trousers. And these also have that pointy toe for something that is just a little bit more sharp and still quite feminine. They are a slingback and they are a kitten heel. Do we call that a kitten heel? I don't actually think we do. I think they're a bit taller maybe than a kitten heel. And I bought these from Mango, I want to say 2 years ago. They are fairly old at this point. They're obviously no longer sold, but they do have similar ones. I've also come across some other beautiful leather options that I might consider because these are in faux leather, which is the drawback. They have been a little bit painful one too many times because they don't mold to my feet. They're also not breathable, and the heel height isn't the issue, it's the lack of cushioning and the really sort of like stiff faux patent leather. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend these anyways. You can't get them, so who cares? But for me, I do have a few options that I might upgrade to. And as you can tell, there isn't a single black shoe in this lineup, as I already mentioned about the brown being a little bit softer and not actually any more difficult to style. While I could have gone for a black pair here, I would actually kind of consider going either a really dark brown or another burgundy pair like I have here, because I just think it is beautiful. It's a little pop of colour, and I still haven't encountered an outfit where I felt like, oh, I wish these were in black. They'd be perfect if only they were in black, because they actually are so easy to style with so many different things. They're not quite a neutral, but I almost feel like I can wear them or style them as if they were. So these have been really good. You can probably see they are marked and scuffed and like really wrinkled from all the wear these have received, so I think I can safely upgrade to a slightly more high quality and comfortable pair at this point. They really fill a vital wardrobe gap, and while I personally used to have way more dressy heels than I ever needed, I have kind of come around to instead trying to invest in really high quality ones that are comfortable to actually wear for when I need them, so I don't kind of dread the evening where I need to put on uncomfortable shoes. Life is too short for that. But either way, it is definitely a wardrobe essential that I think it really completes the capsule. And I will say, if you're completely dead set against heel, I think even a slingback flat pump like this, especially if it has more of a patent leather vibe to it or a pointed toe, something to just make it a little bit more dressy, I think that fills that wardrobe gap as well. So those are the 5 shoes that if I had to, I could build pretty much all of my fall outfits around these. Now of course I love shoes, so I do have and style more, but if I'm being like completely honest with myself, these 5 pairs would see me through pretty much any occasion that I would need to get dressed for this season. Between sneakers, loafers, 2 pairs of boots and a dressy shoe option, I don't honestly think that I can say I technically need more. But let me know what you think, if this list is missing some. Which shoes are your non-negotiable for autumn? Let me know if you'd like to see more videos on wardrobe essentials and what you think about these kinds of videos. And if you're not yet subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing so if you want to see more videos like this. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you very shortly in the next one. Maybe one of these here. Bye!